just because they heard it pays. And who the fuck wants to be poor knowing that's how we've been raised? Society is getting heavy, I can feel the weight. The pressure of success is like 100 million pounds of
Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl, the SkkyZone. Guys, well, I don't know if you all have heard it. I guess Joe Biden, okay, he is next up for the Me Too movement, I suppose. You know, they have ushered in a young lady who says that Joe have been really naughty on those job sites that they've had back in the past, back in the way past when she was a young girl, you know, fresh out of college. You know what I'm saying? Even though the recent polls are saying that Joe is a little bit up above Mr. Donald there, but you see Donald was looking like, yeah, you wait on it, asshole. But anyway, guys, here's some video footage here of this young lady speaking about the incident that happened to her and Mr. Biden. You know, these here, I'm just curious what the Democratic Party is going to say and do with this. You know, they are the ones who behind the whole Me Too movement. I'm curious as this plays out how it's going to how much they're going to push this effort, or what they're going to do with this story. Are they going to push it up under the rug? Are they going to bring it to the forefront? Are more victims are going to come, or rather accusers? You know, I'm really curious as how they're going to play the words up too. You know, they're really good at this, the language that they use when it's those others. So, well, guys, let's see what Miss Tara, you know, and then they always find these women who look like they are, man, they just look just as tired as they want to be. But anyway, guys, let's get to the footage.
Against former Vice President Joe Biden. Tara Reade has previously alleged that he sexually harassed her when she worked as an aide in his Senate office in the early 1990s. Now she says there's part of her story that she's never told before.
We reached out to the Biden campaign for comment. We have not yet heard back, and the Hill has not independently verified Tara's claims. Joining us now via Skype to share her story is Tara Reade. She's former Senate aide to Vice President Joe Biden and domestic violence activist. Great to have you, Tara. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so tell us what happened back in the early 90s, the part of the story that you had never shared before.
Well, I had started with Senator Biden's office in 1992 in the fall when President Clinton, the inaugural and all of that. So I came on in December of that year, and then continued on through 93. And as was in the press before, there was a sexual harassment claim that I made. And the part that I excluded was an encounter that I had with Joe Biden. It was very painful, and it's had a long-lasting effect on my life.
So let's talk about that incident, Tara. First, describe it for the audience, and also, why is it that you left out that part of the claim when you originally stepped forward, whenever there was an accusation?
I'll tell you why. It's because of the election. That's number one. And number two, I told you all about the Child Victims Act. She says she was his aide in 1982. 82. They can go far back. They don't have to have proof. These women are making these accusations on being touched, you know, on the nose. Fellas, y'all better be paying attention. It's real out here in the field. Powerful men with money, stature, and status. You better be paying attention, because you can lose all of that just by doing something you've been doing for years. Just by a gesture now can get you a compliment, a touch. Better watch it.
From a Nevada lawmaker. Why is it that you're coming forward at this point? And please, I want to make sure that you have your say, and you can describe the story as full and in whatever way you feel comfortable.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. There were many obstacles. I think the biggest one was fear of retaliation. I received in 1993, when I attempted to bring forward the claims, I received a great deal of retaliation in the workplace. And I lost my job and career as a result of coming forward. And I was too frightened then to talk about it, and didn't really have the framework then to, you know, how to come forward and all of that. And then last April, when I saw Lucy Flores being just torn apart by the press. It was, I mean, I don't want to blame the press, but it was just, she was being kind of vilified, and it was painful to see because her claim was valid from my perspective because I had experienced it. And a friend of mine who knew me at that time called me and said, "Hey, Tara, you know, they're saying no former employees of Joe Biden have come forward." And I said, "I know." And I decided to come forward about that portion. And then as soon as I did, a couple of reporters from national outlets called me, but by then I was already getting smeared on social media, and I'd gotten some threats by phone. And I just kind of went silent and decided I wanted to approach it from approaching like an advocacy organization for help.
Mm-hmm.
So the portion that I didn't talk about was the encounter with Joe Biden. And it was after he had said some things about wanting me to serve drinks to donors, that he thought I was pretty and had nice legs and things like that. And we didn't really have that many. There was no relationship. There was no flirtation or anything like that. He just made it clear he liked me. The scheduler told me that he did as well. And it was strange. But anyway, I was doing whatever I was doing in the office. And the scheduler came in and said, Joe wants you to bring this to him, hurry. And it was his athletic bag. It's called a gym bag. And so I was carrying it, and this is where I want to be really frank with you and everyone. I have worked so hard to not remember this anymore that now that I've talked about it, I only shared it with a couple of people when it happened at the time. So there are spots where I just don't remember certain things, but I remember the assault itself and then the aftermath and the reverberating effects of that. And I was walking to the Capitol, through the Russell building. You go down the stairs, you go down, and then it was somewhere in either the Russell or Capitol, I'm not sure, in an alcove. But we were in a semi-private place. It wasn't completely private. He was at first talking to someone. They went away, and then he said, "Come here." And then when I gave him the gym bag, it happened all in one motion almost. And he had me against the wall, and then his hands were down my skirt and up my skirt, and I was wearing I wasn't wearing tights or anything, and he then with his hand went from there and entered me with his hand, and as he was trying to kiss me and saying things to me. So when I tell you what happened, it's hard because everything kind of happened at once, but there were incremental parts to it.
Mm-hmm.
And meaning he was trying to kiss me and I was pulling away. And what I remember of that time is feeling really shocked, surprised, because there was no real conversation right beforehand. There was no precursor. It just happened. And then when he did that, I was obviously pulling away, and he pulled back and said, "Come on, man, I heard you liked me," something to that effect. And that's what kind of jolted me. Like I was trying to think what I did wrong to bring that on me. And then he looked angry and irritated with me, and that's when I knew it was really, I was in a very difficult position because he was my boss and he was like my dad's age at the time. And I trusted him and looked up to him. And it was not like I disliked him. I liked him, but I just didn't like him in that way. And it was just shocking. It was shattering actually. And he said to me when he pulled back, he pointed his finger at me and he said, "You're nothing to me. You're nothing." And then he straightened his clothes and he went away. And I don't remember I know I went to the restroom to clean up, but I don't remember exactly. I remember the next memory I have is of the Russell building. There's these long windows that are very tall and this empty kind of like, there's back stairs. And I was sitting on the back stairs and I just remember the coldness and my whole body shaking and feeling alone and feeling scared and not knowing what to do or who to talk to. And it just, I knew I had made him angry because I insulted him by pulling away and stuff. It was awkward and horrible. So I called my mom later. I went home and she was furious and she said she educated me about sexual assault. At that time, I really didn't look at it as a sexual assault. I thought I did. I felt like I put him in a bad position. It's strange to say, but I felt like I did something wrong because after I was told to like serve the drinks and I wouldn't, the scheduler said things like, you need to button up more, you need to dress less provocatively. And I was in my 20s and I was dressed in pretty much business clothes, so I was confused by that. And my mother described that as retaliation, and she was kind of explaining to me what was happening, and I wasn't aware of how this worked, you know, in that kind of
right
pattern. And so when I called her, she said, I want you to make a police report. And I said, Mom, who do I call? It's the Capitol Police. Like, he's the most powerful, one of the most powerful people in the world. You know, he's chairman of the judiciary. There's nothing I can do. And no one saw it, I don't think. And she said, you need to march into the office maybe to make a sexual harassment claim. And she was like, Tony and we argued about this. And it was after the incident that I did make a written claim outside the office because I had tried to follow protocol with the sexual harassment, and just how I couched it was in terms of I felt uncomfortable. And I went to my supervisor, and I don't know if it's okay for me to say the names of the upper level supervisors I went to, but there were two.
Yeah.
And they were in upper, yeah.